Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We developed a very simple flocking simulation with around 10,000 boids in my previous video. There are several ways we can optimize boids, but here we will take a look at 3 ways I feel are easy to understand and are relevant. Let's start by limiting the number of iterations. So we don't iterate over too many boids per frame, especially when the boids are clumped together. The second being implementing field of view, wherein only boids in front of the given boid swept along the field of view are considered. To do this, let's define two more variables: the field of view, a float value as it will be in radians, and max perceived, which will be used to limit the number of boids considered for calculation. Let's write a piece of code to change the color of material if it finds another boid in its field of view. Note that this will have to be commented when running the simulation. Once we shortlist all the boids within a perception radius, let's calculate the field of view and sweep along to get the boids in front of the current boid. This is done by using the dot product to find the angle between two vectors. One is the velocity of the current boid and the other being the vector from current boid to shortlisted boids. I will link a video on scalar projection from Coding Train if you want to know more on this topic. So we now have boids that fall in the field of view. We can limit the boids here by simply adding a break statement. This way we have the most important boids considered for the calculation of forces and we can control them as well. Let's test this by providing 0 as max perceived, so no boids are perceived as we are immediately breaking, hence no flocking behavior should be observed. If we increase it to maybe 4, we immediately have flocking behavior. This works even if we consider just one boid in our vicinity, which seems to be going against what Reynolds described, but it is not. We are considering one boid per frame, and there is every chance we pick a different boid in the next frame. So over a period of time, we would have averaged a given boid's position just like how Reynolds described. Just that we don't have to do it every frame. We can also test the field of view by uncommenting the debug code we wrote in spawner class. So all the boids in red are within the field of view of the yellow ones here. We will now try and reduce the memory footprint by using blob asset store to store parameters that stay constant during the gameplay. Let's start by defining a boid manager for those constant parameters. We can make these parameters dynamic as well, but I will leave that to you. We will have a blob array of boid managers like so. We will also need a reference to boid manager and use blob builder to populate these constants. Let's declare blob asset store reference in every boid and replace old assignments with the values from blob asset store. We will do the same thing in movement system by changing all the references. By doing just this, we have reduced the memory footprint. This will make sure all the boids are referring to the same memory block where these parameters are stored and are not duplicated in every boid. There is a wonderful video by CodeMonkey explaining more about blob asset store, and I'll put up a link in the description down below. We can now push the system to spawn more than 100,000 boids at a nominal frame rate and also play around with parameters to get interesting behaviors. I was curious to know how this simulation would perform in my Android phone, the Samsung S8 Plus. I quickly added a button to spawn 5000 boids on every click and also copied a piece of code from the internet to measure FPS and displayed them on screen. Lo and behold, boids on my Android device. I was able to push this to 20,000 voids with frame rate hovering between 30 to 45 FPS. I was able to achieve 10,000 voids flocking at relatively stable 60 FPS on my phone. I am sure this can be pushed further and the system can be better optimized by introducing algorithms like particle swarm optimization or genetic algorithms, but I will leave it here and move on. The source code and Android package file is available on GitHub, but I suggest building and publishing it to your own respective portable devices if you want to. This is all I have for now, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have fun.